you know, where do you get your education, or where do you get your training when you're just trying to figure out a horse? Do you pay attention to one person, lots of people? And the consensus has always been pay attention to a lot of people. Pick up the things that you want to kind of pick up, let go of the stuff you don't want to. The concept that everybody's got a different sort of approach or idea, and that's okay. As we continue to sort of grow and refine along the way. Did you come to say hello? And so I really want to kind of encourage people to always keep looking around, and even in the comments here, a lot of people make suggestions and participate in, you know, how about this, or how about that, or did you think of this, or what happens with that? And those things are great. I really want people to keep thinking along those lines. That anyhow, so concepts and ideas, like how you do things, can be very fluid, I think. You know, there's some things that are really effective and work for many horses, which is another part of the conversation came up. Some horses respond well to some things, some horses don't. You know, it's going to be, concepts can be rather fluid, and I'm cool with it. I mean, some things obviously are better. You know, they work better, they're more effective. But there's one thing that I don't think that I would never stray from in regards to training or working with horses or being around horses. No matter what I'm doing, whether I'm working with flags, tarps, riding, trail riding, work, motorized things, cars, gators, trucks, bicycles, even umbrellas, all of these things, no matter how much thing that I feel, that should never change. And I'm not against stressing a horse out. I'm not against sort of getting them hyped up, worried about something, but because usually it's going to lead to something that usually I can bring them through. So I don't worry too much if I gotta get them through the scary stuff, because it only just makes them stronger. And there's another connection I'll talk about in a second. But the idea that no matter what you're doing, no matter which technique you're using, that when you get what you want, you let them know that you got that, and you're very happy and thankful about it. Like, it's hard to explain without really kind of showing it directly. And, you know, if you're going to get them worried, if you're going to get them freaked out and kind of scared, and you're shaking around and you've got a rope or you've got something, if they do what you want them to do, if they get through that stress, if they move their feet, because most of the time we're just trying to get them to do something, like move their feet around or something. It's our job as sort of the educator. I mean, you could say trainer or whatever, horseman, horsewoman, everybody who's working with a horse, you are no matter what, you're going to be a horse trainer or educator, a teacher. But because they work a lot based off of fear, some treats kind of thing, like that can be a draw. But a lot of times they live their life in fear, and we sort of worry them and get them past it through fear. It's very, very, no matter what you're doing, very important, I believe, that we reassure them and we tell them that they're being really good. So I'm going to stress her out a little bit just by having her come be with me. Come here. You know, I'll bring her nose in and I'll wrestle her a little bit because I know she can tolerate it. Right? But when she's really good, when she really kind of gets soft, which she isn't yet, so I have to hang on a second. Now I've really put myself into it. Come here. But when we reward them with that feeling that they did a good job, they've done well, they're in a safe place. It's not a place to be afraid. It's not a place to be afraid and stay afraid. So of all the concepts out there, you know, whether you do clicker training, treat training, whether you do pressure and release, whether you ride English, whether you ride Western, all the cultures that are involved with the horse education training world, there's one thing that I believe that I would never want to change or teach anything different, is that when you get what you want to get, you have to come back to them and say, thank you, good job, you're okay, everything's fine, just come hang out with me. And so you create a draw, because I had a really good question that links into a lot of thoughts. I had a question that came in about a horse, and it was about a horse that kicks, and I said, well, you've got to create more draw. And she said she didn't know how to create the draw. A lot of times people will go into a round pen, they'll create drive, and they'll release, which will create draw in a way. But true draw doesn't come from just drive. True draw comes from I believe, the horse feeling like being with you is a really good place to be. It's a very comfortable, safe place. If you watch Luke when he's with me, the guy usually falls asleep when we're chitty-chatting. To me, that is true draw. That is what draw really is, where when they're with me and quiet and calm. But that doesn't come from drive, fear. You can use that stuff in training, and those concepts and ideas of how to train can be, relevant. They can work. But in the end, as always, I believe, and this is just something I just want to put out there, I think, you have to be able to draw them back in through a feeling of comfort and safety and quiet, because that's all they're looking for. Horses aren't loud creatures. Look at these guys.